It's time for the Spoony One! Wrestling Show! It's time for the Spoony One! Wrestling Show!
Hey! Didn't expect to see us back here together. This is Miles, of course, my brother. He is in town for B-Fest, the Honey Festival that takes place in Illinois every year. It's also a 24-hour film festival, but we decided we'd catch the Royal Rumble. We were going to see it with some friends. Unfortunately, it is like the worst winter in about 15 plus years here, so we are basically snowed in. But we thought we'd order it anyway and give you our thoughts briefly. Every time I say that, I ramble on for an hour, but I don't think there's really much to say about this one. I mean, go ahead. Like, it's kind of remarkable how you expect more out of them at this point. You know what I mean? You'd think they'd be able to read an audience that is all but hiring skywriters. You know, they're telling you what they want. You know?
Yeah.
And this, all right. This is kind of what I'm saying. And let's never mind the fact that you're having tag team championship changes on the pre-show. You're changing the tag team championships on the YouTube match. You're changing the championships on a match nobody's watching. You know. Never mind the fact that the tag team titles are so worthless now, you might as well kick the belts in the fucking sewer. Never mind the fact that every time the tag team champions come out, my reaction is, oh, they're the champs? Seriously, that's my reaction every time. If next week you were to quiz me, if you were to ask me who's the tag team champions, either if I remembered it all, it would take me a full minute to remember. I'd be like, I'd sit there, and it's not because I have a bad memory. It's because I don't think many people will remember it. You know.
Well, the tag team division's gotten better, which is the sad part.
Yeah.
Is that continually they've had the best matches on Raw. They've had the best matches on some pay-per-views, at least recently. And so, especially on a card that was so small,
mm-hmm.
and after seeing it all, was lacking in stuff to really get people into it,
mm-hmm.
to not have it on the main show, and I realize they're not the main draws, but
mm-hmm.
still, they're the things that get people into the match. To not have them on the show, and you could have anyone on that freaking pre-match show. Really, you have the U.S. and or the Intercontinental Champion, and you're doing nothing with them.
Yeah.
Granted, they show up later, but then again, you had people showing up later in the Royal Rumble anyway that were wrestling in other matches.
Yeah, somehow I still don't know how this works, but Goldust and Cody Rhodes are good. They're really good. They've been consistently putting on the best, somehow they've been putting on great tag team matches. Some people were talking match of the year candidate level matches between the Shield and Goldust and Cody Rhodes. They weren't match of the year, but they were seriously for the WWE, the best matches of the year. For the WWE. And they're getting these are a lot of not only stipulations I'm putting on, but these are all true. Not only for the WWE, some of the best performers right now, they're getting pushed to the pre-show. But we're talking about a division that is worthless. We're talking about it's still worthless despite it being probably the best state it's been in for a while. They still have no opponents. Goldust and Cody Rhodes had no opponents beyond the Shield. Think about it. Nobody really. They have the Usos, but they can't feud with baby faces. So this is what I'm getting to. Your tag team champions now in 2000 2014 are the New Age Outlaws. Yeah.
You didn't know?
No, I know. And I want to call somebody. I want to call the retirement home that they escaped from. It reminds me, and this is not a good thing, it reminds me of TNA when, I think it was 2012, when the Outsiders were the World Tag Team Champions. When Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were TNA Tag Team Champions. Scott Hall. When Hall ruled. Hall ruled. Hall did not rule. Now, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn are not anywhere near as bad as Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were. Not saying that. What I'm saying is, look at the main event picture right now. The tag team champions in 2014 are the New Age Outlaws. The current guys who are main eventing are John Cena and Randy Orton. The guy who won the Royal Rumble, spoilers. The guy who won the Royal Rumble, Dave Bautista. What's changed? You wonder why. I mean, it used to be people didn't care. You know, you used to wonder why you were losing an audience. Now, it's kind of circled back around to where not only it used to be they were angry, then it went to them not caring. Now you've seen it kind of turn a point where they've gone beyond not caring to the point where it's kind of, would you just fucking go away? You know, it's just like this noise, you know, and you're like, if you ignore it, they go away, and then you stop caring, and then, you know, like, it's next year, and you're still doing this?
I get the feeling that Vince McMahon should be eternally grateful to Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff, because it was their dumb fuckery which made the Monday Night War at all significant. If they just stood by and did nothing, and just let Vince McMahon run his own show, it would be Hulk Hogan for WrestleMania 16 main eventing against whoever, and that, you know, it'd be, nothing would change. You'd still have the same old people doing the same old shtick.
Yeah.
And no one getting elevated. And it was through the forcing of their hand that Vince was like, gotta push some other people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the thing, is like, it's just stagnant. And that was no better illustrated than the matches that came, like, back to back here. This show started with the Tag Team Championship match that nobody saw. But it really started with Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, and which was the match of the night. And I didn't expect it to be very good, because, let's face it, Bray Wyatt is probably not very good.
He's okay.
He's okay. I certainly didn't expect him to be very good. Like, I don't know how long they went. 15 minutes, 10. Let's say 12 minutes. I didn't time it, but 12 minutes, 15 minutes. They went a while. I certainly didn't expect him to be able to go 15 minutes or anywhere near about. But Daniel Bryan not only carried him, he took him to a really good match, and that's not me fanboying over Daniel Bryan. I'm something of a fan. But no, he carried him to a really good match. I was really impressed. There was a lot of good kind of psychology there. So let's just, that was the high watermark of the show. These were two new guys to the show. They got a chance to show off, and it was a new story, and the crowd wanted to see something new when they got it. cut to the next match, which was John Cena and Randy Orton.
No, it was Big Show and
Well, okay. Let me fast forward a bit. Let's go to John Cena. I'm making a point. Contrast: John Cena and Randy Orton, or as I like to call it, you may recall, and I feel the need to bring this up because we're not supposed to remember this. Many, many moons ago.
I remembered it before you. I was the one bitching about this when they first came up with it, when the title unification match.
No, I remembered it immediately.
Bitching about it.
I remembered it immediately, but they had a match with the exact stipulation that they would never wrestle again. Specifically because they had wrestled approximately 3 zillion goddamn times, and we'd fucking seen it. Like, there was nothing, like, we were so bored of that match, and they were conscious that we were so bored of that goddamn match. Like, it had main evented, like, 8 of the last 12 pay-per-views, and the feud would not die. So, like, it was seriously, like, the tagline of that pay-per-view, like, the last time, we swear to God. And this was the pay-per-view. I keep bringing this up with where, like, Randy Orton tried to murder John Cena with explosives. And there's, like, a really, like, people don't remember this. Like, really. Where, like, he beat up John Cena on the stage, and then Randy's psychotic, and he's, like, mashing his hand on the pyro control panel, and, like, John Cena only barely escapes the explosions. And I'm like, holy shit, like, what are we witnessing here? We're witnessing attempted murder, which Randy, like, escaped. Like, no charges, by the way. But this feud, I don't know why this couldn't just be about the title. No, we had to make it personal. By having Randy Orton snap and punch John Cena's dad in the face. Again. This is like the 3rd time it's happened.
How much more personal do you need?
John Cena's dad, seriously, this is the 3rd time he's been assaulted by Randy Orton. Like, John Cena Sr. needs to have, like, a private security detail assigned to him. John Cena needs to stop buying his dad tickets.
Just don't have him in the front row. Buy him, like, even 5 rows back.
Get him a skybox.
But
for God's sake, John, you can afford it.
When he's like, "Hey, Randy,
John, I'm in the front row." Oh! Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Again.
Even if Randy takes a flying leap, he can't get back 6 rows.
No, like. You know they point out, like, John Cena Sr. They're like, and John Cena's dad is up in this private skybox behind 4 inches of Lexan bulletproof glass. He's in the Pope's private...
You don't want the front row, and you don't want the box. Because that's, A, private, and B, at some point, he's going to get defenestrated out of that.
Oh, yeah, because what they'll do...
You want is the sweet spot, the middle.
No, because what they do in the private box is, like, John Cena would be in the ring waiting for the match, and his music would hit, but he doesn't come out. John's like, what's up? And then they'd cut to a camera in the private box, and then, like, the butler would be like, and then it'd be like, I'm up here, John, with a chair, and then, like hits his dad, and then, like, oh my God, we can't get in, and he's like, I got it, and he throws it, I see where it's going. Like, stop sending your dad to Raw. Jesus Christ, man. But, like, I guess we're just not supposed to remember, like, or we're clearly catering to, like, 6-year-olds. You know, kids who obviously cannot remember. Like, yeah.
Everyone has their things in wrestling that tick them off, and I think I have 2 that. And it's the strangest thing. I was texting a friend, he's also a wrestling friend, and I bitched about a certain thing, and he goes, well, it was for this. And I go, look,
You're skipping ahead.
I know this is fantasy, and I know this is all bullshit, but god damn it, there's got to be fairness.
You're skipping ahead on this.
But
Okay,
that's one of those things. The other one is history. Just let history be history. I bring this up because it happened most prominently when Triple H fought Undertaker for the second and third time. When he's going like... When
we're bringing up ghosts.
I am. But like HBK would be going like, you've never faced him before, H. You can't beat him.
You can't beat him. It's like, no, I can't. I could do it.
And every time I'd be like, motherfucker, you guys wrestled before. At WrestleMania, you wrestled.
You got slammed off the scaffold thing.
Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it.
Yeah, because they've already wrestled twice. He's like, I could do it this time in the ring. You know, they had a WrestleMania match already, and then they fought again, and then they fought again. Seriously, like he gets like 3 matches, but yeah, they never once acknowledged.
You could pull whatever screw job you want. You could have whatever run-ins you want. I don't care, but at least be honest about it.
Now, what bothered me way worse is the fact that when they were unifying the titles, they never one time acknowledged that Chris Jericho was the first man to unify the titles and be the first ever undisputed WWE champion.
Leads into the other one. This is history, people. Never happened before.
No. I don't think they said it never happened before, but they never acknowledged it, and I know why they didn't.
Well, they were saying history would be made, but even then, history wasn't made.
Okay,
this has been done before.
No, but I know why they didn't. Because it makes the match far less, like, significant. You know, because, like, oh, well, if it's happened before, well, we don't need to see. You know what I mean?
It'd be like if during the Super Bowl, they were just like, the Denver Broncos have never won the Super Bowl. This is history in the making.
But you know what I mean? Like, if they say, like, because they were pushing it, they were literally saying, like, this is the most important match in WWE history. We're going to unify the titles. And I'm like, that's happened, but they never bring up like fucking Jericho did that, you know, like
Peyton Manning's never won a Super Bowl. Cheer him on this one.
Yeah, it'd be like saying,
can he win it this time?
It'd be like the 2 best teams in the NFL are going to play a game and decide who the best team is, and I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna be huge. We should see that, you know. That was unbelievable, and there's a lot of things on this show that have happened before that were never brought up. For instance, another one you mentioned, Brock and Big Show. It's actually somewhat interesting that that Brock was fighting Big Show. However, Paul Heyman originally turned against Brock Lesnar to manage the Big Show when he went to the revamped ECW. Remember that? You'd think that would be something Big Show might raise a concern about to kind of get inside Brock's head. They're like, hey Brock, yeah, you remember when that one time Paul Heyman like turned against you and managed me? When I went to ECW and won the ECW Heavyweight Championship. That was funny, wasn't it? You remember that?
But even then...
That was nutty.
Like, I'm not someone that would be for obscure trivia and just be like...
That's not obscure!
No,
he won the World Championship because of that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not someone who'd be like... If someone mentioned a tag team and be like, oh, these guys... They'd be like, well, actually, on an episode of Superstars in 2003, they actually did this.
It was the ECW championship. So.
But when you're bringing up WrestleMania moments and world title, like, history-making world title changes, yeah, I'm going to remember that.
The Undisputed Championship, that was huge. And... that people remember that.
Yeah.
People, like, okay, the ECW Championship, that was the WWE fuck's sake. People blocked that. You know, even people who watched wrestling, when I was doing the WrestleMania board game review, and I showed people the clip of the zombie, people I know who watched wrestling were emailing me and was like, "Was that real?" Like they were emailing, but were like, "What did you do that? Was that real?" Like they were asking me if I faked that. Like they're like, "How did you? What? I don't. What?" They were like in disbelief. They were like, "Was that a sketch or was I don't even what? How did that look real?" And I'm like,
"That was Vince McMahon's greatest revenge."
Yeah, he systematically bent ECW over and just like publicly butt fucked it for like a year and a half.
He paid money to butt fuck it for a year and a half, and he was like, "This is so worth it."
Kevin Thorne, Mordecai. Well, I was on SmackDown, but you know what I mean. Pirate Paul Burchill.
December to dismember. This is costing me so much money, but it's worth it.
Not even the wrestlers' parents watch December to dismember. I'm convinced that the people who drove to that show were like, thought they were going to SmackDown. You know, they're like, "What day is it? I don't know, man. There's the show going on today. Let's go." Oh shit. Oh no. Who's in the cage? Fuck, this is an ECW show? What the fuck is Big Show doing in there? Ezekiel Jackson? Who the fuck? Where's Tommy Dreamer and Rob Van... He got pinned? Oh, fuck, man. No. I'm supposed to be talking about the Royal Rumble. Even though those shows were, like, at least memorable. Anyway. The fuck was I? Oh, John Cena. I forgot where I was. I was talking about John Cena and Randy Orton, match 3,762. Or was it 63? I don't know. They all fucking blur together at this point. Can you blame me?
What's funny is you obviously need a new gimmick every single time they wrestle. Or try
no, you don't.
Or
no,
try
you
to. Or try to.
No, they don't.
They try to, and this is just like they try to, like with the last one, it was, "Oh, we know we said we weren't going to do it before, but this is for title unification," and this is, and in this one...
Yeah, you're right. They actually did admit that. They did. Because they're like, this is special.
And this one, they tried to have like the end-all, be-all WrestleMania blow-off match, because they were doing everything from kicking out of each other's finishers to doing each other's finishers and kicking out of that.
Here's something that I found hilarious. When they did the unification match, and they put both belts above the ring, you know, they were like, okay. The first thing is they had screwed over Daniel Bryan so many times, like 3 times over the course of 3 months. People were so disillusioned that I was like, there's no way they're going to trust anything that they do from now on, because like there's 3 times, like who would ever buy a pay-per-view again? Like you're gonna.
I didn't. I've chipped into pay-per-views, and I don't do this because I don't normally buy pay-per-views, but I was chipping in with friends to buy the Daniel Bryan pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And then when it came around to title unification,
you wouldn't do it.
I didn't do it. Because I didn't even trust that they would unify the titles.
But that's why in that one match was they were like, I think they knew they were in deep shit after that last one, because like it was just a blatant screw job. Because it was the second time he'd won, pardon me, and then the next night they just took it away. You know, it was the Dusty finish all over again. And so they were like, they had to come out there and be like, we guarantee a definitive match. There will be one winner and one champion walking out. But even then, you didn't believe it. And why would you? So like, but there was, but they had to come right out and be like, okay, seriously, like I know we've been assholes, you know. So like, but okay. So they have that match. Randy Orton wins clean, essentially. Which, remarkable, really. But then, they're like, okay, John Cena gets his rematch. But then Triple H goes backstage, and he's like, okay, they're going to have a match for the title in the ring. But it's going to be a wrestling match. And I'm like,
we've never done that before.
no, but he's like, but it's gonna be a wrestling match where you have to win with a pinfall.
I would have been more interesting in a chess match. That would have more drama in it. And I would be genuinely interested in seeing who was the better player.
We wouldn't have seen it before. But no, my point is, the next thing he says is like, we're going to have a straight-up wrestling match. And he goes, we're finally going to find out who the man is. And I'm like, we didn't fucking find out who the last fucking time they wrestled was? Like, there was no interference. And the whole point of the fucking match was, they specifically said, there's going to be no interference. They said this. There was going to be no interference. They said there's going to be no interference. Okay, wait. They said there's going to be no interference. They can say this. Remember, okay, management can say there's going to be no interference. Why can't they say there's going to be no interference in every match? Isn't that wrong? Isn't interference in a match bad? like, can't they be like, okay, guys, from now on, there's going to be no interference.
You're serious now.
Seriously.
Come on.
Stop it. No. They go like, okay, in this match, there's going to be no interference. So that didn't happen because Triple H said. So there wasn't. But the only way you're going to win is climb a ladder and pull the fucking belts down. So that happened. I thought we figured out who the man was. No, we're going to have a wrestling match. Boom. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So that's what led us here. We found out who the man was.
Until the next time.
Well, they're gonna do it again.
But like even this one, like I said, they tried to pull out all the stops and have it be the WrestleMania blow off.
Yeah.
They trade each other's finishers. They do each other's finishers. They kick out of it. Problem is, we've even seen that before.
They've done it. They've done it at WrestleMania.
So even like, oh my God.
They didn't care.
They did the FU.
They lost him way before that. they lost him.
True. I'm just saying, even by their own logic of doing a different gimmick, it didn't work. But yeah, within 20 seconds, they're chanting, "This is boring."
Before that, they weren't chanting "This is boring." They were chanting everything else. But because even they're chanting "This is boring" at that match. They're like, that chant is boring. But haven't we chanted Randy Savage? You know, like. Because they even, like, seriously, like, even, like, they're like, they had lost interest in chanting at some point. Like, early on, they didn't even want to chant. You could tell, because all of a sudden the camera angles started getting crazy. You notice the editing was getting all over the place, and I'm starting to like, why are they cutting, like, all weird all of a sudden? And I realized the crowd wasn't looking at the match. All their heads were turned. And I realized the sound was moving, like the crowd. They're doing the wave. And the wave is the worst thing that can happen for the crowd, for the wrestlers in a match, you know, from the audience. Because what the wave means is they don't even care enough about the match to chant. They don't even care enough about the match to watch. They're doing the wave, which means they're not watching the match. They're waiting to see when the wave comes their way. And then they're watching the wave go by because the wave is cool. They don't give a fuck about what's happening in the ring. That's what was going on. So for the first, 3 minutes, yeah, they're so fucking pissed off that they're seeing Randy Orton and John Cena again. Yeah. They're going, same old shit. Boring. What were they? Randy Savage.
This is awful.
This is awful. You both suck.
Yeah.
At one point, they said, "We want divas." They didn't even bother chanting for the commentators.
No.
They didn't bother doing the Fandango dance. Which surprised me. I thought they would start doing the Fandango.
And they weren't, like, for the longest time, they weren't commenting. And I mentioned, normally when it's the Canadian crowd or some other crowd, they can go, "Oh, it's Bizarro World." They're saying that Cena sucks, but this one, they were taken aback.
Early on, before it got really hostile, they'd be like, "Cena feeds on these emotions. He just loves when a crowd is involved."
Because one of the very first ones was the
just Cena sucks.
"Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," that one. And so then they were kind of doing like, "Oh, he feeds off the controversy." But then when it full-on shit on the match,
after a minute, that just turned. Because then they started wrestling. This is before he actually started wrestling. Once the bell rung, they were just like, oh. You know, because it immediately turned into chin locks and shoulder blocks. You know, they just immediately they were like, okay, here's why the match sucked. All right, let's say you're Randy Orton, and I'm John Cena. Just bear with me. You hit my dad in the face, and you hit him so hard you broke his orbital bone. You put him in the hospital. And then we're going to have a wrestling match. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to hit you so goddamn hard, the ref is going to have to pull me off of you because my fist is going to be covered in your gore. Does John Cena fight Randy Orton like he's going to fucking kill you? No. He starts doing this. He starts doing shoulder blocks. He starts throwing suplexes. He starts doing his little fisherman slam. He starts doing this.
Brock Lesnar got way more pissed off at so much less.
Brock Lesnar, on the other hand, over nothing. Brock Lesnar
over a completely in-your-head slight that Big Show was embarrassing him.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar felt insulted. He got shoved.
He got pushed down, and his takedown got stuffed.
Yeah. Big Show stuffed his takedown, and Brock was like, "No way you live."
His father could have been murdered, and I don't think he would have had that much more of a reaction than his takedown being stuffed.
He might have actually kind of respected that.
Yeah.
He's like, "You got balls." But no, like, Big Show kind of, like, stuffed his takedown, and he's like...
You stuffed my takedown.
He's like, "You stuffed my... Oh, you think you're tough. Oh, you think that... And fuck you." And, like, no. Like, Brock Lesnar came at him like he was a rabid beast. So, like, yeah, he fucking attacked that guy, and he kept wailing on him, and he kept wailing on him, and, like, 5 minutes he beat this guy with a chair. That's what John Cena should have been doing to Randy Orton. He put his dad in the fucking hospital.
His dad didn't press charges.
Specifically
so, he would have John Cena whoop his ass for him.
Specifically so, John Cena could put this motherfucker in the hospital where he was. That was the point of this match. That's not what happened. This is what I'm saying. If I'm in the ring with Randy Orton, and I'm John Cena, Randy Orton would kill me. But if it was me, Randy Orton. But if John Cena was in the ring with Randy Orton, I'm gonna kill you. That's my point. Like, that's like I'm not locking up with you. I'm not putting you in a chin lock. I'm gonna tear your face off, and I'm gonna make you eat it. You put my dad in the hospital. You broke his fucking orbital bone.
But of course,
I'm not. What the fuck is this? The whole point of this match is you made it personal. You hurt my dad. This isn't about titles anymore. Like, you're trying to tell a story, and then you immediately fuck it up! Am I crazy here? If you're not gonna tell that story, don't start that story! And they've done this 3 times! And they've never followed through on it any of those times. Because they don't want to do this to John Cena. They don't want to give John Cena any kind of edge. They don't want to scare the children off. They don't want to turn John Cena into the crazy guy. They don't want to turn him into Martin Riggs. They don't want to turn him into the "I'm gonna fucking kill you" kind of guy. They don't want to turn him into the crazy spoony guy. He's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." They don't, like, you know, it kind of got scary on you there for a second. Like, you know, I'm not intimidating, but they don't want to give him that crazy guy's look, you know. They don't want to do that because he's selling goofy, shitty T-shirts.
We obviously hit on the head. It's just about seeing them again, and again. Look, this has nothing to do with John Cena hate overall.
No, it's not.
I have no problem. When he wrestles other people, I'm perfectly fine. When he's doing his matches with, but Daniel Bryan or other people, or if CM Punk, it's fine. My problem is that I've seen this match so many times.
Yeah.
I'm so like done with this.
So, like, if you're gonna do this match again, do something different. And I'm like, I gave this match a chance. Because, like, okay, they're making it personal. Maybe they will do this. Maybe they will have a fight. They won't have a match. And they had the same goddamn match they've always had. And the crowd, I think maybe the crowd would have given it a chance if they had a fight. And they had them, as soon as they locked up and started doing fucking... Actually, you could tell when Randy Orton put in that fucking chin lock. You heard it. He put in the fucking chin lock. And I heard them go, "Oh!" I swear to God, we have it frozen. I think if I went over there and I started that match again, and as soon as the chin lock goes on, he's like, "Bleh," you'll hear him go, "Oh!"
Well, that was also a fuck you, too.
Yeah.
I know, like, later on in the match, you can tell when Randy gets pissed off at the crowd when they start doing shit. And at a certain point, that was like a fuck you, too chin lock.
The chin lock is a fuck you?
It is.
But, yeah. I'm like, so, like, stop having matches. God damn it, man. Like, you gotta put some emotion into this, and, like...
I think they're doing it again for the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, oh, they're going to, because nothing was settled here. They had this god-awful long match. And I hate when they do that. I hate when they do this thing where they have a god-awful long, their WrestleMania formula match, and none of it matters, because it all just ends with a bullshit run-in, an RKO, and a 1-2-3. You know, this match could have been 2 minutes long, because it doesn't matter. It all ends with, you know, Bray Wyatt jumping on the apron, RKO, and it's over. You know, this could have been 2 minutes long, and it should have been. You know, but, like, they did this whole thing where they made it personal, and it turns out it had no more emotion than just kind of this could have been, you know, a first match segment on Raw. It felt like one. And the thing is, they even did that. I think the crowd was lost right away because they knew this was going to be another match, because they did a big fight intro to this. They both came out, they stood in their corners, and the announcer did that thing where instead of announcing them on the way to the ring, they were standing in their corners, and they introducing first the challenger, you know, like, and then, you know, and the champion. And I'm like, why is John Cena standing there? He's doing his thing where he's like flexing and he's loosening up, and he's, you know, John Cena, and he's like, yeah, me, I'm here, smiling, and I'm like, kill this guy. Fucking kill him! I'm sorry. This just it really sends me into a rage. Like, there's so many other like, and I'm not going on this thing where like everything in the Attitude Era was better, but like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like this character this character, Stone Cold Steve Austin is not standing in this corner going like, if like you hit Stone Cold's dad, I don't know what he'd be doing there, but like if you punch Stone Cold's dad, he's waiting for you at the entrance to the arena with a fucking pipe, and then he's caving your fucking head in. Like at that title match, like, you know, the champion comes out to the ring, and he might go to the ring, and then, you know, the announcer get in the middle of the ring, introducing first the challenge. And like, you know, he turns across the ring and he starts stomping a mud hole in your ass. I'm done. This is the difference, though. And the Brock Lesnar thing is a perfect example. Like, Brock Lesnar's got a character, and that character is the Hulk. And a lot of people, I don't think, liked that match.
No, I think a lot of people are shitting on it.
I liked it. And it wasn't a match.
No,
but I liked what it was. And I won't go on about this very long. I thought the Brock Big Show thing was exactly what the Brock Cena thing long time ago should have been. I thought Brock Cena should have been a one-sided domination of Cena. Like, you know, Cena takes Brock way too lightly, and Brock goes in and fucking kills him in 3 minutes. And takes a chair and like just kills Cena over the course of like 5 minutes after the bell, and just kills him and kills him and kills him, which leads to Cena, you know, training and making a big comeback and making a huge comeback and challenging him at WrestleMania for the title and overcoming the odds and beating him. And guess what? That's Rocky 3. Perfect formula. And it's not because I hate Cena. And that that doesn't make Cena look weak. That makes Cena look like a huge overcoming the odds thing. That makes him look stronger than ever. So I was like, I'm helping Cena. Seriously. Anyway, I thought that's what Brock Cena should have been. Is, like, you know, Cena gets a flurry of offense in, but he runs into a fucking buzzsaw. He runs into Clubber Lang. You know, he just completely underestimates this beast. And so I think that's kind of what happened to Big Show here. Was like, you know, Big Show, he kind of goes in there kind of expecting a wrestling match. And Brock Lesnar, he ain't here for wrestling. He goes in there to fight. And so he charges in through the ropes and just comes in swinging like an animal. He takes this guy down and he starts raining elbows. You know, and Big Show is not equipped for this kind of hostility. You know? And so, you know, by the time he gets separated, yeah, there's some offense in there. But yeah. By the way, nobody gave a shit about Big Show. This guy's just got a chair and he's like, he's just wailing on this motherfucker for like 5 minutes. Nobody's coming out to help his big ass.
Rey Mysterio's practicing his promo before the Rumble. He's like,
Booyaka!
Booyaka, I'll say that. That'll be awesome. He knocked down that racket. I'm trying to think of my promo. I'm going to win the Rumble.
Oh, it hurts so much. Oh, Ray.
Hey,
Ray.
Let me try that out.
Help me.
Big Show. Hey, where's Big Show? I'm going to run my promo.
Han. Leia. He actually broke a chair off in his ass. And then he, like, summoned another chair with the Force. He did. He, like, held his hand out and another chair just, like, appeared. And he's like, poof. It was actually kind of sick after a while. It was actually kind of uncomfortable. Although that was the point. Now I can see why you wouldn't like it. Because it wasn't a match. And I think you said...
wasn't a match, and for a 4-match show that ended up being, I think, is less time than a standard Raw. Yeah, you want to have what you paid for.
I agree.
So even adding another match would have been preferable. It's a good story, story element you threw in, but it's not what you sold people on.
I agree. And, yeah, I liked it for what it was, but this show could have been longer. I would have cut this Cena match should have been on the YouTube show. It would have been booed there too. No, yeah, I would have switched tag team title match for this. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I just to repeat, I would have booked that entire Cena Brock thing completely differently. But yeah, that's fantasy booking. I guess I shouldn't go too deep into that. I've been over it too many times before in my own head. It would have been so much better my way. I'm so much smarter than everyone else. We were talking about Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. It was a really good match. I heard Daniel Bryan had a concussion a couple weeks ago. I am amazed that I heard it was bad, but I guess people hear a lot of things, so...
No, it was, but...
How do you come back from a bad... If it was a bad concussion, he would still be out.
I was kind of surprised they did things like the Sister Abigail on the outside.
I don't know about stuff like that, because sometimes that makes me suspicious. Like, if it was a bad concussion, he would still be out. If he was back within a week, it wasn't a bad concussion. Or I don't know much. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the internet. But what's a bad concussion then? Like, you know, like
I don't know.
I don't know. But like a bad concussion to me is like in the NFL, I've seen players go out with concussions for like months, and they're like, that's bad. You know, I don't know, but yeah, I don't think they've mentioned on TV, or have they, that Daniel Bryan even had a concussion. But yeah, it was almost like Bray Wyatt was working the concussion. Like
I wasn't hearing the announcers calling that though.
No, although Dolph Ziggler had a concussion, like a legit concussion, and he was out for like over a month, a long time. But so yeah, he recently got a concussion from the Ryback. Didn't he? I think he did. Anyway, was a good one, and yeah, Bray Wyatt was like targeting the head the whole time. It was a good match. Very hard hitting. You know, Bray Wyatt obviously kind of works a brawler style. It was obvious Daniel was kind of carrying him, but it was well done. The big highlights were fucking tornado DDT on the outside that looked like it fucking compressed Bray's spine about 8 inches. That was brutal. Yeah, the big spot that was like, I think it was Daniel Bryan trying to dive through the middle rope. Bray catches him and does the Sister Abigail like head first into the barricade, which just looked like it fucking murdered him. And then he brought him in and did I'm not calling it, he did the downward spiral. He downward spiraled him and got clean win, as clean as it gets. Because the other Manson clan, the rest of the Manson clan got ejected like immediately. So yeah, he basically won clean without the help of his other boys. So pretty remarkable, really. I think the most notable thing about this entire scenario is, as soon as I say the WWE is completely tone deaf as to what the crowd wants, they kind of listened when it came to their complete rejection of Daniel Bryan joining the Wyatts. Or did they? I don't know. Because like they seem to realize it was a really stupid idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They did this idea where like Daniel Bryan kept getting screwed out of his titles. You know, like he'd win the title and the next day he'd get it pulled away from him. He won it again, and for some reason he got it pulled away again. So like, you know, frustration after frustration. Eventually, like, you know, Bray Wyatt is always doing the join me in the dark side thing, and eventually Daniel Bryan is like, I will do whatever you ask, and Bray's like, good. And so like he becomes like this. it's this really weird angle where he becomes this cultist, and he becomes one like immediately. Like he becomes like completely brainwashed. He starts wearing a fucking garbage man jumpsuit, and like he starts just like willingly taking like beatings for his failures, and I'm like, he looked like an idiot. He started dressing like an idiot, and it just he immediately became this Kool-Aid drinking cultist guy, and you know maybe they just immediately realized this was like so 90s because not everything in the 90s was good. You know, you had the oddities, you had the headbangers, you know. So you had this really, you know, the Wyatts are good, but they're good up to a point, and that point is very distinct. And Daniel Bryan going from like this very talented technical wrestler to dressing like Duke the Dumpster, that's the line. So like, I don't know if they listened to the crowd because the crowd shat on it like immediately. I don't know if it was because they're like it was really obvious he's out of the title picture, or I don't know, but they aborted it like immediately. You know, like they just had him leave. He's like, "No, I'm not here anymore. I'm not doing this. This was all part of my secret plan. I was going to infiltrate them. Yeah, and reveal him as the charlatan that he is. Victory!" And even Bray Wyatt is like, "No, you didn't." And Daniel's like, "Did so.
I proclaim victory in this feud."
And Daniel's like, "I did so because I called it." And like Bray's like, "I'll kick your ass." She's like, "Dare you to?" And so yeah, this is where we're at. We're at the Royal Rumble, and they're kicking each other's asses, and I don't know why. Because Bray Wyatt is bad. I don't. Anyway, so Bray Wyatt like downward spirals him, and he wins basically clean as a sheet. I don't know what this means anymore. And I'm not. It was a good match. It was a really good match. I am not upset that Daniel Bryan lost. I just don't know what this means.
Same.
I don't know where we go. If you're a hardcore Daniel Bryan fan, I would start despairing.
Seems to be, well, thing is, there seems to be some grand design that they think they have for WrestleMania, and I have no idea what it is.
I wouldn't start thinking that.
No, not for him.
Oh, definitely not for him.
I've heard so many predictions on possible main events from Daniel Bryan and John Cena tag teaming to, I mean, yeah, it's everything, and I don't know. They seem to have some idea. I don't know what it is, and it's not guaranteed to be good.
Apparently their thoughts are loftier than my comprehension. I don't know. But I would start despairing if you're a Daniel Bryan fan, hoping he gets into the title picture anytime soon, because he's now staring at the lights for Bray Wyatt. I don't even mind that so much. Just because I'm a fan doesn't mean I necessarily think that he needs to be holding on to the belt forever, because he's the bestest in the world. I just like seeing him wrestle. It's just I thought it was a well done finish. It was a good match. But yeah, it was definitely the match of the show, and it was definitely all downhill from there. I love watching Brock Lesnar do his job. I think they booked Brock Lesnar, at least recently, exactly right. I love watching that guy operate. That guy is just a beast, and they book him like a beast, and he fucking destroys everyone he runs into. It's perfect. I would not have booked Big Show against this man, however. I thought that was a waste of Brock Lesnar. I don't know what they're going to do with The Undertaker. I don't know if they're going for Brock and Undertaker. There's been a lot of rumors. I've even heard Sting and Undertaker. All of these are mistakes. They desperately need to do John Cena and The Undertaker. Because if they're going to have any shot at making us think there's anyone who has a chance of beating The Undertaker, it's John Cena.
Never going to happen.
I wouldn't say never.
At least not Not until they get into their head that they're going to turn John Cena heel.
And that's the only thing that, if they want to turn John Cena heel, that would be the time to do it. Would be beating the Undertaker, because whoever beats the Undertaker will be a heel forever. That'll do it. You know, the two problems being they will never turn John Cena heel. So that's, you just said, I mean, I wouldn't say never, that's the never. Yeah, so, but if they want to have any drama of someone beating the Undertaker, John Cena. That said, Undertaker would win.
Yeah.
But that would be a good time. I've always, again, I've heard people shit on this match, but one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time was Rock and Austin, where they did the double turn. Austin sold out to Vince McMahon. I thought that was a perfect heel turn where Austin said, like, I need to win this match. This is all I have left. I need to win. And so Austin threw every single thing he had at The Rock, and he could not beat him. And in the end, he had to sell out to McMahon to beat The Rock, because he needed to win. So, I actually thought that was going to be what happened with John Cena and The Rock, because John Cena was saying the exact same things. You know, he's like, this is the worst year of my career. I need to beat The Rock. He said that. He's like, I need to win. I need this. And so, no, it was just, John Cena wins, lol. I thought they might actually have John Cena turn heel. Stupid me. But, no, that didn't happen. But if they're going to have John Cena, if they're going to have Undertaker lose, it should be to John Cena, and it should be the same way. John Cena cannot beat the Undertaker. He throws every single thing he has at this man. Taker won't tap out. He won't tap out. He puts him in the STF. He puts him in Hell's Gate somehow. He tombstones the guy. He fucking FUs the guy. Everything. He won't beat him. And so in the end, the way I'm booking it, he hits him with every single thing he's got. He fucking last rides the Undertaker, and this old fucker will not die. Even the last rides the guy, the fucker sits up. So in the end, he's like, I can't fucking do it. So all of a sudden, Taker picks him up for the tombstone. John Cena punches him in the dick. Rolls him up, 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins. John Cena is a heel forever, and it's beautiful. So, you have got a story that will endure forever. John Cena has beaten The Undertaker. Undertaker, hey, next WrestleMania, you've got him for one more match. You've got a nice little capstone. He gets his revenge on John Cena. You can finally let that fucker retire. It's a nice little capstone. John Cena's, but they'll never turn him heel.
The Rumble, I was just bored by the Rumble. The match itself. I know there's always favorites to win, and
I think it was pretty obvious.
For the most part, it was like that. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about within the match itself. There's a little bit more surprises in sometimes surprise occupants, and in this one there was Torito, Kevin Nash, and JBL. It was like,
usually, people usually tune in to see the surprises. There really weren't that many. Yeah, you pretty much call them.
And even their surprise...
Be right back. Go ahead.
Even their surprises in terms of inside the match were not that surprising. You knew that there was going to be a rift in between the Shield. And guess what? It started. And there was just no other storylines involved. There was nothing else to get into. It just was a standard battle royal.
Yeah, I mean, almost every Rumble you can name some really huge return debut. I hate to bring this up because ironically it happened again, but Diesel. You remember when Diesel returned? You were like, holy shit, it's Diesel. This year, Kevin Nash came back and we're like, oh.
That's your thing now, is it?
No, that's him again. You know, we're like, it really wasn't anywhere near we're like, oh.
And even, it's, again, when other people's suggestions are more surprising than yours, like Jake the Snake coming back.
That would have been such a dumb move.
Still, that's more surprising than Kevin Nash.
I would have not put Jake. Leave Jake alone. I don't care how good Jake looked pretty good going in the ring, but no matter how good he looks, don't let him do anything. I guarantee you that guy is not going over any top rope.
He can. I mean,
you don't know shit about what he can and can't do.
If they can put the Great Khali over, they can put anyone over. The Shield were so ginger in how they picked up this brittle man and put him over. They can do anything.
Calm down. What I'm saying is, I'm talking about the state of his health. I'm not talking about like his knees or anything like that. I don't know what he's physically capable of. Like, I seriously don't know. But like, I just don't know what the state of his. I don't know. But I think they should just leave Jake alone. But like, I remember they fucking threw Drew Carey in there. It was bullshit, but there were tons of surprises going in here. And when your biggest surprise is El Torito, usually there's some like big legend that comes back. And they get in the ring, and it's
I was even partially thinking, since they brought him back for an old school Raw, Sid Vicious.
I would put him in the ring.
You're gonna bring Kevin Nash. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing is, like, they actually had some people in there who could. They had Flair. I mean, Flair is not exactly in great condition, but he could go over the top rope. They could have him go in there and chop some people and strut and then just kind of get dumped. I'm not advocating Flair taking any, like, superplexes, but he's in good enough condition even at his, just woo, you could do that. More than fucking Jake. And he'd get a huge pop, and whoever dumped him would get booed. Fucking Duggan. And I hate Duggan. But he'd get a huge pop and he'd get out there too. If you must start throwing people in there, fine. Fucking who else? Those were people that we saw. Those were people that we definitely saw there. Instead, they had JBL, who I'm not sure if he can go or not. But they just had him stand kind of on the apron and then get immediately tossed. And that didn't seem to bother him. He's like, whatever. And it was a comedy spot, but I mean, dude, you had the potential for a WrestleMania title match. And that didn't bother you when you got eliminated. I mean, a little bit, you didn't even kind of take that seriously. I know you're an announcer and all that, but you had a shot.
I've never seen a crowd so down immediately upon seeing the 30th person.
I knew. See, they were all so sure, and I knew that it wasn't going to be him.
Everyone was so hoping for Daniel Bryan.
They weren't hoping. They knew.
There was a little, but they really wanted him. They really did. They wanted some kind of appearance, and
they didn't want him. They knew.
And
it was there was nobody else. They were like, it's 30, it's him.
With the numbers just going down and down, they were just they wanted him more and more. And then I've never seen poor Rey Mysterio.
What he's saying is, the contestant, the wrestlers keep coming out and coming out because there's 30 guys in there, and they wanted Daniel Bryan because they're like, he's our guy. They love Daniel Bryan. So it's 28, 27 is Alberto, 28 is Batista, 29 is I don't even know who the fuck. So there's only one more guy, and they're like, here it is, it's Daniel Bryan. And he's saying they wanted Daniel Bryan. I'm saying they knew it was him because he's the only guy left. he's it. There's no one else. Like, he's the only main eventer left.
And they completely forgot.
And they forgot Rey Mysterio. And I'm sitting there going like, why are they chanting for Daniel Bryan? They forgot Rey. And I'm like, because he was in the video package.
He comes out and he's like, booyaka!
He's like 619. Booyaka, booyaka!
And it was like 5 seconds of stunned silence and then, boo!
It wasn't just boo, it was like, fuck you!
Poor Rey Mysterio.
Oh.
And the thing is like, even like neglecting the fact of not putting in Daniel Bryan, you usually want the last person to be like a big splash, like someone that, oh my god, he could take it. Either he's like a big heel or a big face. I mean, that's kind of what they did with their last, The Rock or someone like that.
It's where I thought they should have put Batista.
Yeah, it's where he comes in, yay, dumps people out.
Well, I thought if they were going to bring Batista back, they shouldn't have announced Batista at all.
That's another thing.
And then just have him, like, shock return as 30.
But even getting over Daniel Bryan not being in it, you expect a big name or someone flashy to make an appearance to do that. And even then, Rey Mysterio is not that guy. Well, no one in the world expects Rey Mysterio, even without Batista being in the Royal Rumble, to win the Royal Rumble.
Well, actually, going back, you remember one of the most shocking Rumble entrants that I remember? That was one of those legends, Mr. Perfect. Remember when Mr. Perfect was like one of the final four, and you didn't really think, but you actually thought that he might do it. I forget who the other three was but you actually thought like maybe. Like, this motherfucker might go to WrestleMania. Like, you didn't really think it, but, like, he's Final Four, man. Like,
I was even wondering, I mean, since they were pushing him so much, Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt might be in the Rumble? Yeah. And there was some really strange gaps in the Rumble, because there were people who were in the Rumble that were in matches, and yet other people weren't. Like, Goldust and Cody Rhodes. They were in the Rumble. But New Age Outlaws, not in the Rumble. Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, not in the Rumble. Why not? I don't know. And New Age Outlaws, nope. I don't know. Los Matadores, not in the Rumble, but are they pissed off that El Torito is?
I'd be a lot more buttered about that.
I'd be kind of torqued. The crowd.
My half bull, the valet gets the Royal Rumble position, but I don't.
Yeah, how did my fucking midget pet get qualified into the fucking Rumble, and I don't? Like, fuck this company. Fuck this company, man. Like, why the fuck I work here? Like, I've been busting my ass, and this little fucker with the bullhorns gets... Fuck you! How pissed would I be in this company if, I worked here, or how pissed would I be as an audience member, if fucking JBL makes the Rumble, and, but there's no room for Daniel Bryan, There's no room for, who else? Who else would have been nice to see in this Rumble that didn't even qualify? Christian.
Oh, yeah, people were expecting Christian.
Christian. But no, we had to make room for El Torito. Who else would have been, who else? Fandango made it, but, we didn't have room for him.
But I agree, Batista shouldn't have been announced. It was some big fuck up, at least in my opinion, that they did it.
I just like how they didn't even have to make a shocking return on Raw. Maybe Del Rio's in the ring going it is my destiny to win the Rumble, and then all of a sudden Batista comes out and bombs him. No, it was just all of a sudden they're at the commentator's desk and they're like, we have big news. Batista's going to be in the Rumble. And I'm like, cool.
And everyone knew he was going to win. I mean, as close as you can get to certainty on a wrestling prediction, people were like, it's going to be Batista.
The ending of it was really like...
Well, ever since 30 showed up and it was Rey Mysterio, the crowd didn't shit.
They were done. As soon as they knew Daniel Bryan was out of this, they were just like, fuck it. They were
so out of this match.
You basically saw them like in a unison, just they're like, fuck it.
It's Batista who's gonna win, and they just.
Well, at first they were like, at first they said fuck it, and they booed. They were like, fuck all of you, and then they were like, well, I guess it's okay if CM Punk wins. And then Kane comes back.
And that leads to my second...
I know. Let me finish. And then they're like... Then they were like, fuck all these guys. Well, okay. Well, CM Punk's still in it. He's good. And then Citizen Kane comes back. And then he comes back from the crowd or wherever the fuck he was. And then grabs Punk by the hair and throws him out. And Punk is eliminated. And then they were like, okay, now, fuck all of you.
That's my second wrestling pet peeve.
They were heading for the exits at that point. They really were. They were like, as soon as Punk got eliminated via bullshit, they were headed for the exits.
Having a non-wrestler eliminate an entrant in the Royal Rumble, that pisses me off because they do it every year. And they never learn their lesson, and every year they do it, and every year it pisses me off when it happens, even when it happens to heels. I'm like, God damn it. There's got to be some fairness in this thing.
Am I the only one around here give a shit
about the rules? Seriously, why wouldn't, when in the times of the corporation or the whatever, that the head bad guy just not have a lumberjack match around the Royal Rumble and have people just continually pull motherfuckers out of the match?
What? I will briefly explain what he's talking about. In the Royal Rumble, you can only be eliminated by being thrown over the top rope and having both feet hit the floor. What he is complaining about is that at least once a year, the occurrence is somebody will throw another man over the top rope to be eliminated. This person will grow very angry and then run back in the ring and illegally throw the person who threw him out of the ring, which counts as an elimination of that man as well. This is bullshit. Continue.
Just why wouldn't, if you weren't a part of the heel stable, just have, your cronies as lumberjacks to beat the shit out of people and throw them out of the ring?
Yes.
Who do you care? It's not against the rules.
Yeah. And the commentators always just go like, well, it looks like he's eliminated. There's no disqualifications. And I'm like, that's bullshit. So an eliminated guy can just run back in the ring and throw anyone out they want. And the answer is yes.
And I don't know why they're so hung up on that. Because you can eliminate people 50,000 different ways.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they're hung up on that specific way that they have to do it year in, year out.
I guess it's like they haven't figured out a way to stop it. Like, logically, how do we prevent this? They can just,
And it could just be easy. A non-entrant can affect the match. They're barred. Or if they do it, it doesn't count.
Or they're fired or something. I don't know, but,
yeah.
This doesn't seem like it's that hard a concept,
If you interfere, you're fired.
Once you're out, you have to leave, or you're fired, I don't know. But, this happens every year, where, it's almost always a good guy this happens to, where, the good guy throws his rival out, the rival gets pissed, runs back in, and dumps him out, too, and I'm like, how is that, that's bullshit, they're like, no DQs, oh well, So, why don't I just, run back in with a shovel and just, beat him over the head, and they're like, no DQs, fuck you, and like, and I'm like, they're correct, there are no DQs, so like, why don't I just like bring a taser? And I'm like, this is the why don't I just bring a shotgun argument, you know, like, if we're just gonna play that way, why don't I just bring a shotgun, you know? You got DQ. Yeah, there's no DQs, and then there's just like, let's use a little common sense here. Like, you got to give me something to suspend my disbelief on. Let's be reasonable here. But yeah, that also is one of my greatest pet peeves in the Rumble. But yeah, it happens every year. But this happened to CM Punk, and yeah, there we go. The finish of this was the third audience proxy. Like, those who were still not heading for the exits, they were just kind of resting those who weren't actively, like, shitting in the seat and throwing it at the ring at this point, were just kind of like, I guess Roman Reigns winning is okay, but he won't.
And he didn't.
And he didn't. The finish was weak. And I mean, it was weak. It was like, this is how it was. This is exactly how it went. Batista speared Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets up. Roman Reigns spears Batista. Batista gets up. Roman Reigns tries to Irish whip Batista. Batista reverses and throws out Roman Reigns. That's it. He just... All it was like he reversed an Irish whip. Like, it was seriously like, it probably wasn't the most like anticlimactic like Royal Rumble finish ever, but it's up there. Like, it was just I'm gonna throw you, no you won't, out. I have seen like the final two Royal Rumble entrance, the final two, I have seen them actually like wrestle a match for like 10 minutes. Wasn't it like Angle and somebody else who actually like wrestled for like 10 minutes when they were the final two? I forget who it was. It was like Rey Mysterio and somebody went for like, seriously, for a while. And then he won with like a head scissors. I think it was when Rey won. It wasn't Angle, but yeah, it was Rey and whoever. But they went for a long time, and then Rey won with that surprise head scissors, pulled him over. Whatever, it was good. You know, that was a really, really good finish. And this one you did as like reverse Irish whip out, and this was in like 30 seconds. You know, and the crowd was just like, like, even for Batista, we expected better. Like, we got nothing out of this guy. We got a spine buster out of this guy. And not a very good one. Like, we didn't get any of his big moves. Like, we didn't get, like, the Batista bomb. Like maybe we were expecting, like, some kind of... I don't know, all we got was, like, a reverse Irish whip out of this guy. You know, that's it. Like, oh, it's weak. And then he's like, we're going to WrestleMania. Oh, I need my Geritol. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So you'll notice in speaking about this Rumble, in which we said we had nothing to speak about, we had nothing to speak about. All we had to talk about was stuff that was much more interesting. You know, about how this made us frustrated about other stuff that happened in the past. Basically what I'm saying is, you know, all night they were saying what they wanted. You know, all night they were chanting for Daniel Bryan. You know, and I'm really not saying they needed to, like, put the belt on Daniel Bryan and never take it off. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, they're telling you what they want. And they want new blood in the title picture. That is all I'm saying. I'm not saying put the belt on Daniel Bryan. I'm saying put him in title matches. I'm saying they fucked up when they had the belt on Daniel Bryan and they took it away. Like twice. At least twice. I'm saying that, like, they fucked it up when they kept doing that. They basically played keep away with the title belts between him and Randy Orton. They just, like, it was like they trolled the fans. They did. It's like, oh, you want Daniel Bryan to be the champion? You do? Well, he won. Okay, here he is. He won. He won. Oh, no. Okay, oh, you wanted to be champion? Okay, by the next paper, he really won. He won. Okay, you pay. No, I'm sorry. No, he didn't. No, okay, now he's one of the Wyatt's. Have fun with it. No, he's not. We were kidding. Well, now he's going to be in the Rumble. No, it's Ray. Like, it's fucking ridiculous at this point. Like, I don't even know. Like, I would say it's malicious, but it's not. They're just tone deaf. It's not, like, there's no way. They cannot be malicious. Why would you do that? They're just stupid. They're just stupid. They don't know it, but, like, they're telling you what they want. They want new people. They don't want John Cena versus Randy Orton. They don't want Randy Orton versus Batista. We've seen that too. We really don't want. They don't want Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan either. Fuck's sake, we've seen that the last 5 months too. They want Daniel Bryan versus somebody else. We wouldn't mind that. When they're chanting for Daniel Bryan, they want Daniel Bryan. They want Daniel Bryan and someone else. They want new people. Fuck's sake, man. Give them new people. And that doesn't mean you gotta fire the old people, too. You just gotta get some rotation in here, man. They want Roman Reigns. They want Dean Ambrose. They want Seth Rollins. They want all these new people elevated. They want Big E Langston. I mean, you'll notice when these guys enter the ring, they want guys with, was Alexander Rusev. They like the Usos. They like the Matadores. They need to get those fucking masks off them and just let them wrestle for a change. But Jesus Christ, come on. They like Antonio Cesaro. That's all I'm saying, And they're telling you that. And they're telling you they're so fucking bored. They're so fucking bored of this shit. That's it.
Yep.
I'm done. You done? Royal Rumble. I walk through miles inside this pit of danger. Let's point at the WrestleMania sign. The drinking game begins.